Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm the big dog in the room. This is Big Dog Still Gaming. This week I had prepared a couple stories for you guys, but decided to focus on just one. As I was going through my normal steps of writing and researching, I just could not get away from this one topic. This topic comes up periodically and was noticeably back in the headlines this past week. But before I get into that, I just wanted to mention that it has been confirmed that there will be a full-fledged Call of Duty game released in 2023. Not a premium DLC for Modern Warfare 2, like most of us thought. Insider Gaming confirmed that the game is slated for release on November 10th, but prior to that, there will be 2 beta weekends and campaign early access. Beta Weekend 1 is on PS4 and PS5 and is from October 6th to the 10th. Beta Weekend 2 is on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and PC from October 12th to the 16th. Campaign early access will begin November 2nd. Okay, so now, the story I decided to focus on centers around Hogwarts Legacy. Hogwarts Legacy is perhaps the most anticipated game of 2023, topping the charts for console sales pre-release and setting a record for the largest single-day release for PC games in history. The game has also set records for Twitch views and sales on Steam and has only been out for 2 days since this recording. Experts expect the game to sell over 10 million copies the weekend of its release. Ironically, all of this has occurred amidst talks of boycotting the game by the LGBTQ community, over statements made by the creator of the Harry Potter series, J.K. Rowling. Members of the community apparently took offense to the author's comments back in 2020, made via her Twitter account. This is what she said back then. "My life has been shaped by being female. I do not believe it's hateful to say so," she said. "I know and love trans people, but erasing the concept of sex removes the ability of many to meaningfully discuss their lives. Obviously, any comments made in a public forum are open to scrutiny and opens the door to public opinion. In this case, some LGBTQ activists decided to interpret her comments as an attack against their community, which spurred efforts to boycott her works. Fast forward 3 years later, and we now have a boycott of Hogwarts Legacy, presumably because J.K. Rowling will profit from the game's sales. Comments across social media and news articles regarding the boycott over J.K. Rowling's comments have sought to dominate the narrative surrounding the game's launch, even though the game has introduced its first trans character and has a gender-agnostic character creator. But it doesn't stop there. In the past few days since the game's pre-launch, accusations of antisemitism have also materialized. Apparently, quote-unquote players have spotted an artifact in the game that seems to be directly linked with Jewish people, according to an article released by We Got This Covered this past Thursday. The article references a horn used by goblins in one scene. The horn is thought to resemble a horn used in Jewish religious ceremonies called a shofar. The horn was also used in times of war, specifically mentioned as being used by Joshua when he captured Jericho in the Bible. In one scene in Hogwarts Legacy, it is said that the horn was used to rally troops during the 1612 Goblin Rebellion, and that is supposedly what led to the connection. This rebellion is thought to somehow reference pogrom in Frankfurt, Germany around the same time. Pogroms were basically organized massacres of Jews. I find this all rather interesting. In the past, even the Harry Potter books have been accused of having anti-Semitic rhetoric in them, citing everything from how the goblins look, specifically their ugly faces and long noses, to their occupations. Some have even called them slaves, since they occupy the background for the most part as cleaning staff or cooks in the kitchens. There are also bankers and a subset of salesmen. Is it possible that people may be projecting their own racist ideas and insecurities into the stories? Are long noses and ugly faces really a characteristic of Jewish people? I certainly was not aware. Are they the only bankers in the world? How about this horn? Is a horn being used to rally troops a Jewish thing? Or can we find the use of a horn for this very purpose being used at one time or another by nations and tribes throughout history, all across Europe and the continent of Africa? Why no connection to the Vikings? Were Jewish people the only slaves in the history of the world? Why no connection to Africans, who have been enslaved all over the world since 1492 and still are living in those conditions in certain parts of northern Africa and some Arab territories? The connections just seem so miraculous to me, but if you read some of these news articles, you would think it was little more than a foregone conclusion. J.K. Rowling obviously hates Jewish people and is transphobic, therefore we should cancel her. No more public platform, no more livelihood for her. In my opinion, and hopefully I'm entitled to one, the public at large really needs to wake up to the brainwash. There used to be a time when we could identify bias and call bullshit when we hear it, especially from the media. There was a time when the media was expected to report facts and be neutral. These days, news is entertainment, and far too many outlets are willing to sacrifice integrity for clicks and views. I could go on and on about this endlessly, but at the end of the day, each individual has the responsibility of evaluating the information they consume. I just pray that we all one day have the wherewithal to accomplish this task properly. With that, I will leave you guys with some further statements purported by the media as being true. If you haven't decided you hate J.K. Rowling yet, perhaps these will do the job. There are very few people of color in the books, and those who do exist are often relegated to the background and given ridiculous stereotypical names. For example, Cho Chang, whose major qualities are being good at school, and oh, that's it? Even white characters aren't spared this. This has background characters Anthony Goldstein and Seamus Finnegan, the latter of whom is very stupid and likes to blow things up. A black female wizard's skin tone changes dramatically across the movies, as she's recast with very little regard for authenticity. And the weird views on gender are clear to see, with the fact that the magic stairs stop boys from going to the girls' dorm, but do not stop girls from going into the boys'. Good looks are frequently associated with beauty, while ugliness of evil characters is repeatedly overemphasized. Several women and 0 men are constantly negatively defined by their emotions. And then there's the literal slaves in the form of house elves. Don't worry though, they like being slaves.